Lynn Kenyon, Everything MT Real Estate, and we are here today looking at another house that is going to be a flip possibly. There's a little twist on this one though. So Campbell bought it and now they have to decide if they want to flip it or just sell it as is. So this is not quite as nice as you can see as the last one we just went through with them. You've got some serious issues with the outside here, and so they have to make a decision. They'll do the math and decide if it's worth rehabbing and reselling, or if they should just sell it as is. So let's go in and talk to Sarah. Again, Lynn Kenyon, Everything MT Real Estate. Follow us YouTube, on our sites, on Facebook, and we'll delve into different topics, lots of different topics, everything associated with real estate. And this is in conjunction with Live in Montana Real Estate. Let's go in and talk to Sarah. Okay, Sarah, let's take a look at this one. Obviously a little different than the last one. I mean, just walking up the stairs, definitely some foundation issues. And what did you just say outside on this one? What do you call this one?
The charmer or the dump or the cat
or the nightmare.
The nightmare. Yeah, they're a horror movie.
Cat house.
I have a lot of names for this house. I'm supposed to call it the charmer because it has potential.
I agree.
It does. The ceilings are great.
Yeah, first look on this one. So Justin loves it and you're like, I don't know.
Yes. I think you'll see why as you walk in. But also, what you can't see is the fact that it stinks. And it smells a lot better in here than it did when we first came and saw it.
So this right now, has this happened to you before where you bought one and said, oh, wait a minute, this may be too much, we may not make our money back? Is that common?
We have not run into that issue so far. We bought this one, and we knew what we thought we knew what was going to have to happen. But we're finding more and more that is going to take us further and further away from our targeted budget. So then we have to weigh, like, how far outside of budget are we going to have to go? Is it better to just sell it as is and save ourselves the headache? So
that's really helpful for the viewers because you don't know. I mean, you buy it, we had contractors look at it, we thought this is what we need. Tell us as we walk through what you're seeing now, owning it, getting deeper into it, tearing it apart. What has been a surprise to you that just is something you may not want to live with? You may or may not want to live with.
Well, one of the biggest issue, and we knew that this was going to be one, was the water line has to be repaired in a massive, massive way. The plumbing in this place is a disaster.
Okay.
But I can't tell you all the details, but the biggest part of the repair is extremely difficult to get to. So it's very expensive to get it repaired. Very expensive.
Okay.
So we're trying to decide, we're getting bids from different contractors, trying to gauge what we can do. And then we just have to sit down and, again, crunch numbers and see, is this going to be worth it in the long run? Are we going to make enough money off of it to justify the headache that it is going to be? Or are we better just kind of cutting our losses and
sell it to a plumber?
Selling it to a plumber or a cat owner, I don't know.
Okay, let's walk through. I love it. I think it's so cool. Look at all this architecture, original windows. I want to see you revolve this one.
I would love to see it done because it is it's a gorgeous space. And it has these detail pieces with the shelves on either side and stuff like that.
Yeah, you just don't see that anymore. So big, huge kitchen.
It did have built-ins, which was a bummer to have to tear out, but they were not salvageable. But we've got, some of the issues. There's the pipe is too small. The plumbing, those are supposed to be bigger. They did have the washer dryer right here, so we've got mold right there, which is not a huge issue. We've kind of we've had it looked at and everything. It's just a cleanup. But the kitchen has to be completely redone.
Would you tear all these out? So let's now assume that you're going to go ahead. So let's look at two things. What was a surprise, and if you do keep it, what your plan is?
So I don't have all the details on the surprises. I know that the plumbing is it has ballooned into a much bigger project than we had anticipated, and the electrical because we knew that it was knob and tube, but it's proving to be a bit more difficult than anticipated also.
So you need a plumber married to an electrician
Yes.
as your next buyer.
Yeah, philanthropic.
I love it.
So, I mean, we knew, obviously, you look at this, you know you're going to have to redo the kitchen. You know that we're going to have to redo the flooring. We know, new windows, all of that kind of stuff.
So you don't paint the cabinets. Do you ever paint the cabinets?
Yes. Mm-hmm. Sometimes we do. And honestly, I don't know what Justin's plan is in here. He may be planning on keeping these. I would be surprised.
Because this is going to be higher end. This is a big house.
Well, it'll be a little bit, but the area does not
warrant
a huge upgrade as far as like high end. This will be probably a first time homeowner, probably.
So Justin will have these numbers better, but what are you thinking? Justin's on a mission, by the way. He's a great guy, so he can't be here with us today, but he'll be back through some of these. So I'm looking at this. I just am in love with it. Oh, I do feel some, foundation. Did you have the foundation looked at by an engineer? Was that one of the
Justin
things?
did get engineer reports.
And that's really common. I mean, a foundation, plumbing, electrical is one thing, but a foundation will throw you off your budget faster than anything.
So fast.
So there are engineers who will look at them and tell you, and you do that when you suspect something. Then every time you have an engineer.
Yeah, absolutely. This house and the last one, they were actually part of a three property deal. And the third property, we had an engineer go out and look at it, and he said, "Do not buy this house."
Okay, well,
so it is important to get that information
ahead of time. Yeah. And what are the fees if someone's going to hire an engineer? Because I hear engineer and I think lots of zeros. I mean, just for them to walk through and give you advice. What's a range that you're paying?
So again, Justin generally does this, but I believe we end up paying for the report, and that's what we pay for. So I think it's $500-600.
Oh, so well worth the money.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely, 100%.
Do you have them inspected too then when you buy a house, or do you do your own self, or just have your contractors bid them?
Yes to all of the above. Sometimes with properties, especially distressed ones, or homes like this where things are kind of clearly not in great shape, they don't want, an inspection isn't really a part of the deal. But you can get in with your contractors and that kind of thing, kind of get a feel for what's going to have to be done.
Okay. Interesting.
So,
all right, well, let's keep walking through this in case you do keep it, and just things that that cat deal is, pets, love my animals, but they can really destroy a house, can't they?
Yes, they can. Gets in the floorboards. It's just delicious.
So what would you do are you going to cover this then with laminate like the other one, you think?
Yeah, and we'll use Kills on it.
Kills, okay.
We've had to do that on other houses, and it's worked out really nicely.
Oh, look at this. I mean, you don't see that in new construction.
No, it's beautiful.
So there's your trade-off. Huge room up here. Oh, this will be a fun one if you keep it. Wow. So you're going to replace the green carpet?
We're
sure?
going to try to salvage it.
Yeah.
Buyers really look for this kind of thing.
Well, look at this base. I mean,
it's gorgeous.
6-8 inches. You just don't see that even in multi-million. They're not doing
Custom
that
homes
like they used to.
And I mean, there is some cool stuff. Like even the floor grates with
Love them.
They're just beautiful.
They are beautiful. So you take those out and just spray paint them then? Yeah.
Then we were going to save this carpet for you.
Yeah, there you go. I have a granddaughter who'd like this. So windows, all new windows. Those look like newer windows. Those are not the original, or
no.
Yeah. Combo. So do you worry about lead-based paint and that sort of thing when you're looking at these, or do you just go over it? I know there's a protocol.
Yes, there is. And that's something Justin works with our contractors to make sure that we're doing things well.
Right.
The nice thing about this house, you've got all the character, but the rooms are good size.
They're enormous.
The water hasn't been on in here in a really long time. They were just using like jugs of water.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So who owned this? Do you delve into those things, or do you get attached to people and find some of your resources or your next projects just word of mouth, or?
So, when you're as you build, flip, renovate, all that kind of stuff, you build kind of a network of people, a team. And so then they think of you like, hey, I know so and so is looking to sell these properties. And we've been really fortunate. She said Justin's a great guy. He really is very likable, and people like him and they want to work with him. And so we've been very fortunate in that. And this was another one where it was a friend of ours who was like, I have somebody who wants to sell some properties. It's a package deal. Let's go look at them.
That's nice. Yeah, this is. So you see here, you obviously got all this settling. You'd be concerned about that. That would be your first thing, besides the floors, of course, just tilting, that you'd want to look at your foundation for sure.
And that comes all back down to foundation, making sure everything is strong and.
But aesthetically, I mean, that's an easy fix.
Oh yeah.
And it's an old house. You'd expect some settling.
Plaster is gonna crack and.
Yeah. So all new lighting. Oh, that looks like it's probably wet at one time. So 3 bedrooms up here. So if you go through, ballpark it. I know you're not Justin. How much would you put into this one? Depends on the plumbing, of course.
The plumbing and the electrical.
Just the aesthetic aspect.
I don't know. I'm very sorry. He's got all those numbers, and he's on an 8-hour time difference, and so I wasn't able to touch base with him. But I know that if we're able to make this one work, it will be a very nice return. If we're not, then we can probably get what we paid for it and move on.
And take your lesson. And
yeah.
I mean, I guess, so then I would say to myself, okay, what would you do differently? So here's one. I mean, you've now dumped some money and time into it. It's not fun to close. You've got closing fees. That's not cheap. So you just turn around and break even. What would you do differently? Is there something that you've learned on this one if you do have to just give it back or sell it for what you're into it?
I think sometimes things don't work out. You do your due diligence. You cross as many T's and dot as many I's as you can, and sometimes it just doesn't work. And I think that's something that with flipping, you have to be prepared for it not to work.
There's no guarantee every time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that. What about building costs? Obviously, they're skyrocketing, inflation. Has that been a major factor now?
It has, in that thing, like materials are more expensive or harder to get. We had to wait. I mean, we waited months for granite countertops for a flip. It took just ages, and there wasn't a ton of communication from the vendor. So, that was hard, and it cost money. The longer you hold the property, the more money it cost you, So those kinds of things are hard to do. Or, flooring that cost, $1,500 6 months ago in the flip that you did now costs $3,000 in this new flip because just pricing has gone up. So, but again, that's something that you anticipate as you do your numbers and decide what you can.
No guarantee. You bring up a good cost. I think people don't realize, okay, so it's going to cost me $15,000, $10,000, whatever number to flip this, to make it better. But you have carrying costs all along the way. You're paying property taxes. You're paying insurance. You might be paying a mortgage. And the longer those go on, that all cuts into your bottom line.
Yes, it does.
And so that is a number you really need to be looking at when you're considering these flips. I can see for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and that's part of what we do. Like, okay.
Utilities, you're paying utilities.
Absolutely. If you've got private money, then you're paying interest on the private money that you've borrowed. All of that kind of stuff adds up. And so that's something that at the very front end, you have to be ready to anticipate. If your, minimum is, I'm going to make $50,000. Okay. Well, you have to anticipate your realtor fees. You have to anticipate your private money fee, like all the things that you said, and factor those in. Are we still making $50,000?
How long can we hold on to this?
Yeah.
And still, come out
Exactly.
ahead. So it's not just the plumbing, the electrical. It's all those other things that can sink you. So it's not straightforward. It's not as easy as people think. Oh, I can make this house beautiful with some paint. There's a lot of things you need to know before you take your money and your time and your expertise and try to flip something. Yeah, cool. Okay, Lynn Kenyon, everything MT Real Estate, and in conjunction again with Live in Montana Real Estate. And we are at this house. Campbell Investments bought it to flip, and this is February 14th. Happy Valentine's Day. And they don't know what they're going to do. They ran into some things they didn't expect. So now does it make sense to invest in these things, repair some expensive fixes, or just flip it and get their money back? And so we don't know, standing here today, which way they're going to go. I'm hoping that they fix it because it'll be a lot more fun to see the transformation. But if they don't, this is also a lesson if you're considering flipping. There's no guarantee. This is a business decision. There's always risk in business, and it'll be fun to see which way they go on this one. And keep watching. We have many videos coming up. We've got Charlie and Allie Willett out of Nyhart who help us with all of these, and they're great. And continue to watch, and we'll share with you where these are going to be found. Thanks again. Lynn Kenyon, Everything Montana Real Estate, in conjunction with Live in Montana Real Estate. Tutorials on everything Montana real estate. Clever, isn't it? So today we're back with Justin Campbell. Sarah joined us last time, and this was the house that they bought, and then they uncovered some things. They were trying to decide if they were going to keep it or just sell it and not make any money. Well, we'll walk in and find out the answer, but I'll give you a hint. The garage is no longer there. So Charlie will show you this. So that was one of the things, and that's kind of interesting. He said one of the ones he had, somebody was living in the garage, so it was decrepit and ready to go. And then look at this porch. You thought it looked bad before. This is what they've done. So this was about 6 weeks ago we visited, and again they were trying to decide. Justin was on a mission if they were going to keep it or just cut their losses and just sell it for what they're in it. So let's go in and talk to Justin about what helped make that decision and why and what you can learn. Oh, this is treacherous. Look at this, holding the porch up. This is real, guys. This is, as you see this, there's no smoke and mirrors here. Hey, Justin.
Hey, welcome.
Yeah, thanks for joining us again today. So 6 weeks ago, when we were here with Sarah, when you were on your mission, it was what are we going to do? Are we going to keep it? Are we going to cut our losses? She said, you may just sell it for what you're in it.
Yep.
Just be done. And it looks like.
We decided to keep it, and it has definitely presented its fair share of opportunities to grow. We'll say that.
That's an optimistic way. Well, I mean, the carpet, let's walk through just since we were here 6 weeks ago. This one has more action than the other one. Carpet's all gone.
Yep, carpet's gone. Again, some of the electrical's done. You can see the wire molding down here.
Wire molding.
Yeah.
What's that?
Well, so that we don't have to open up the walls and damage the classic baseboard, so that we could preserve some of that. We decided to run the wire on the outside of it.
That's brilliant, because that is one of the nice things in this house for sure. Yeah,
some of the features. Also, once you open up a wall with a lath and plaster, you've got to rip all of it out and do it all. So
why is that?
It crumbles. It's really nasty stuff.
Whew, so, it's got some smell in here too. What are you going to do about that?
Kills.
Okay.
Lots of kills.
Yeah?
Yep. So the kitchen's demoed. Again, you can see some of the new electrical work over here.
But really, new plumbing too, looks like?
Yep, new plumbing. So plumbing's done upstairs, downstairs, main floor, with the exception of the laundry room over here. We're still in the process of doing that. That'll be done this week. But yeah, I mean, we're kind of at the point where we're a blank slate.
Yeah,
we're
totally.
Finally out of canvas.
Yeah. What made your decision for you? Why'd you decide to go for it?
Yeah, well, we had talked about it a little bit before, but it just came down to numbers. So once we were able to kind of ascertain what the problems were, we were able to put some numbers to it, run it through our spreadsheet, and then say, okay, we think that this will still work at this
You
point.
can still work with it.
Yeah.
What were the things that you specifically found that when you bought it, you
Yeah.
didn't just go in with eyes closed,
Yeah.
but some things came up after you'd purchased
Right.
it. What kind of things?
Yeah. Well, one of the things that we do when we purchase property is we have to buy so fast with no contingencies that we don't have time to do a full inspection. So a lot of it is just visual. And so we're guessing out what the problems are. And so after the fact, we found out that the water main was not only busted, it was not only busted, but it runs through the neighbor's yard. And so trying to figure that out. And
How
so,
did you resolve that?
we're still in process. We think that the city tore up First Avenue South a couple years ago. And from what we've talked to some other neighbors, they think that it might be, and what they encountered 2 years ago is just a bunch of mud when they flushed it out. And so we're hoping it's not actually a busted water main, but that we can blow it out. So we're going to test that this week. If not, then we're going to have to trench it up and do the whole thing. But even with that, you know, it's not going to be a great deal, but it'll still make sense.
So like, just ballpark, what's it, if you have to trench it up, what's
Yeah,
it
but
cost for
about
something like?
$20,000 to do the whole
Wow.
thing. Yeah,
So that is a big deal.
it's a big deal.
So checking water lines, I know in real estate, that's a huge trend right now.
Yeah.
Because that's not cheap.
Yeah,
And it's not insured.
and usually that would be disclosed, you know, with a property disclosure. But this one, it wasn't, and so we didn't know until right up until closing. So we did find out before closing, but not enough time to, you know, get estimates and whatnot.
Nix the deal. Huh,
Yeah.
interesting. Well, let's walk through and just show. So all the flooring. Looks like there might be some foundational issues. What do you do there?
Yeah, so this is actually just sitting on dirt. So that's why it's like this. And so we've got to pour a concrete pad underneath, lift it up, put a footer underneath.
So those are biggies.
Those are biggies.
Those are not $2,000 mistakes. Those are the many thousands that can really cut into your profit.
Yep.
Do you ever go backwards?
Nope.
Nope.
Never gone
Sure
backwards.
could. Sure could. You got to
Yeah.
have enough. You have to be able to know enough that you don't, because losing 20 grand is not the goal.
Yeah, no,
Anyway.
it's not the goal. Yeah. Yeah, we want to take a look upstairs?
Yeah, if we can. So at the end of the game, how much will you make on this, you think? Well, it depends on the $20,000, but
Yep. So we'll make anywhere between $25,000 and $50,000 on this.
and the market's good.
Market is great. Yeah, interest rates they're a bummer from what they were last year, but they're still incredible, you know, historically. So, yeah,
So then is one of your goals to make it pass for all kinds of loans, FHA, VA,
yep.
rural
So
development?
when we write out our scope of work, we're thinking through primarily, will this pass VA? Because VA is, I mean, you'd be able to
Driving
speak
this
to
community, yeah. Great Falls,
Yeah.
Montana Air Force Base, yeah.
Yep. And so they're also some of the most strict. And so we need to make sure that everything we do passes a VA.
That's important, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it looks a lot different than it did last time. All this demo, lots of demo.
Yeah, you can see the bathroom. That's probably the most improvement in the whole house.
Yeah. So you've got a new tub, new plumbing.
Yep.
They get permits. Very aware of, you know, doing this correctly, which is integral for many aspects, from liability, from resale. Even though it costs you more, doing it right and getting licensed contractors and
Yep.
permits and that sort of thing is.
Making sure that you've got contractors that are licensed and insured is very important. We've had some deals where contractors either walked off the job or whatnot, and your only recourse is if they're licensed and insured. So,
Do you sign contracts with your contractors?
oh, we don't. No, that'd
Yeah.
probably should, huh?
Well, I would be thinking that would not be a bad idea sometimes. Yeah. Yeah, they leave you high and dry, and now you're, you said on the last one, what's this one costing you every month in carrying costs?
So the number that I gave you was for both of these houses together.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so
So about $1,700 a month per house.
taxes, insurance.
That's just private money costs.
Oh, that's just your private money.
Yeah.
So you fold in taxes and insurance. It's a bigger number than that because you're paying that.
Insurance is not much. I mean, it's $120 for the two properties, and then taxes. I only pay those at the end at closing because we flip them so fast.
Yeah, but it's all the bottom line.
Yeah.
It affects the bottom line. If you're getting a close bottom line because of a $20,000 mistake, that's got to be for sure factored into it in every deal, all aspects of it.
Yeah.
Do you ever see, these are old houses, is mold a common thing to find?
No. The only time we find mold is if there's a major water leak that's not been mitigated. So with these, the air here is so dry, and so we don't really have any issues with mold.
Asbestos in old houses, are you seeing that?
Asbestos, yeah, especially with siding. Fortunately, this siding was replaced after that was a common material used, so we don't deal with that with this house or with the duplex. But we've got
lead-based paint, before '78, lead-based paint.
Right, yeah.
That's good. So on this one, we're 6 weeks from when we saw you last time. I see a lot of change in this one. Mostly demo, the stuff we don't see, the plumbing and the electrical that are most expensive. When do you think this will hit the market?
Boy, this one is probably a solid 2 months from hitting the market.
2 months to get hit the market. So Montana, temperatures can drop. Is there a time of year you won't put something on the market?
Nope, all times of year. And really it does depend on market trends. So if we find the market bottoms out, we'll be really, really cautious with what we buy and whatnot. But, for the last season, there's no bad time to sell.
Right. So this house, where will this go to market? What will you, give me you don't know the exact, you'll do a CMA, you'll do a comparative market analysis and see what the market is at that time.
Yeah.
What's your guess today, standing here?
When we ran numbers, our ARV was 220.
And ARV
is after repair value.
Okay.
And so we ran it conservatively at 220, but we've got a really recent comp that we think will bump up to 240.
Wow, so there's your 20,000 in sewer main.
Yep.
Huh. What are you going to do flooring? What's the...
Yeah, we've got some nice LVP flooring that we're going to put throughout. Well, obviously we'll carpet the bedrooms with a high quality carpet. But all of the common areas will be a nice LVP. I think it's a dark flooring that we picked out. So it should look really nice.
So you have this original flooring, this original actual wood flooring, and you're going to cover it with plastic.
Yeah, because it's
tell us why.
Yeah, it's a pine material. So I don't think it was ever intended to be the actual flooring. It's almost like a
the flooring here. Okay.
Yeah, here. So it's almost like an old subfloor, and so you can't really refinish it because the gaps are so big, and it would take a lot of work to make it look nice.
So you say, am I going to restore the wood floors?
Yeah.
Which a purist is like, oh yes, please. Or you're going to put LVP down, and 9 out of 10 times, or what's the...
Yeah. And again, it would probably depend on the resale value of the house. If we had a historical house on 4th Ave North, you've got to refinish everything. Bring everything as close to the original as possible while updating. But in a house like this, where it's not, there's no historical value to it, we'll keep a lot of the finishes. Like on the staircase, there's some ornate finishes. We'll keep all of that. The larger
paint it or strip them.
I think we'll strip it and stain it. I think is what we're doing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's actually walk down. We can talk along the way, and you can see. What do you do with? This is just over the top. You don't see baseboard like this anymore.
Right.
What will you do with that?
Yeah, we'll keep the baseboard like this. These are kind of the nice finishes that we want to keep.
And then paint them.
Yeah, paint them. Yep.
And then popcorn ceiling here. What do you do with that?
Yep. It depends on how textured it is. So if it's too bad, then we'll scrape it. This we'll probably keep it because it's not too bad. It's just kind of heavy texturing.
So you'll just paint over it?
Yeah.
But this is what you're talking about. Like on the staircase, you'll strip this and stain this.
Yep, that's right. Yeah,
So
I
do
don't
you-
know if we'll strip and stain or paint. I don't remember what the.
So do you get bids from your contractors on each?
Yep, we get multiple bids on every project. You know, we've got some contractors that we just have a lot of loyalty with, and
Sure,
we trust their bids. So if they come in, we don't get second bids. We just trust that.
No, I'm saying like, okay, so this, you could paint it, you could
Oh.
stain it. Will you ask them what it costs, or?
Probably not. Probably the project manager that does interior design. She'll have the final say with that.
So what colors are we doing here?
It's a great question. I don't know the answer to that.
Gray and white?
We'll do some agreeable gray, but I know with this one she had some other colors picked out that will match the flooring and some of the designs that she has in.
So will you do staging?
Yeah, we will definitely stage both places.
What's that cost for a house like this?
Ballpark. You know, probably $2,000 would be my guess.
Couple grand. They'll do many of the rooms, several rooms?
Yeah, or probably just one bedroom.
One bedroom
Yeah.
and then living room,
Living room, dining room, you know, the common areas, and then one bedroom.
and it'll be a couple grand. And
Yeah.
that for a month they leave it, or how
Yep,
long do they?
for a
Okay.
month. Yeah.
Well, one of our interviews will definitely be with the stager and what they
Yeah.
do. But
That's great.
I didn't know for flips if that was money. So that's against your bottom line.
It is.
Everything. I mean, it adds up.
It does. Yeah, it absolutely adds up.
Are you seeing? I mean, this is 2023 inflation. How is that? I mean, I guess you've got inflation as far as the resale.
Mm-hmm.
But just the cost of goods
Yeah.
sold and just what you're putting into this.
Building materials have gone up. Yeah, labor has gone up. You know, everything's gone up.
Labor too.
Yeah, they do. Yep. Yep. Which is good. They need to keep up with inflation prices too.
Sure. Yeah. No, that's great. Well, this is super helpful if you're thinking of buying a house and flipping it. You know, this guy's done Sarah and Justin have done several of them, many of them, made money. And this one, like I said, 6 weeks ago, we were like, I don't know, this will be
Yep.
interesting. What's going to be the final decision and why? And I'm real anxious in 2 months to visit with you and say, oh man, we should have walked away. Sarah was right. My wife, we're always right. But women are always right. Yeah.
That's true.
But anyway, it's fun to see and walk through, and I'm anxious to see it in the next couple
Yeah.
of months, what it looks like
Yeah.
and what your final is, and we'll go from there.
I
Thanks
think
again.
I think you'll walk through and look and think that was a great decision.
Yeah,
Glad
no,
you kept
I
it.
don't. Well, I would get emotional. Look at the old stuff and the beauty
Yeah.
and those would be the ones I'd want to do. So
Yeah.
no, it'll be fun to see. I'm anxious to see it. So.
All right.
Hi, Lynn Kenyon, Justin Campbell, Red Door Property Management.
Yeah.
And so remember this house. This was the one that it was, we're going to keep it, we're going to sell it. Should we just not make any money and give it back because there were some unexpected things? This is about a month later than the last video that you're looking at. And remember the porch was caving in, blocking that up now. So about 4 weeks, we're going to walk through and show you what 4 weeks does. And then we're probably another 2 to 4 weeks until it actually goes live on the market, unless he decides to keep this one too. Probably not. This one
Probably
to flip.
not. Yeah.
All right, we're going to walk through this then and see what he's done in 4 weeks and visit about some of the costs. So tell us about this. This had to have been a big deal.
Yeah, and this one was much more extensive than we thought. Obviously, it's almost completely torn apart. It's one of those things where you don't know what the problem is until you tear it open.
Sure.
So
Yeah, it looked bad from the outside for sure.
So obviously,
So
got to do some cement work and properly support it, and
So
Gonna rebuild the deck.
concrete
Yep.
and then rebuild the whole deck.
Yep.
What's a ballpark for getting this done? You think just this part of it?
yeah, probably $4,000.
$4,000. Okay.
Yeah.
So we walk in the front. Remember how bad that was and how horrible it smelled. No, it's good. Colors are good. So what in here? Just new flooring and paint?
Yeah, new flooring. We had to retexture all of the walls. A lot of patchwork. All of the electrical. So 100% of the electrical is updated.
What's something like that run?
Ooh, this is about $10,000.
10 grand for
Yeah.
electrical. Wow.
Yeah.
$4,000 for the porch. these walls don't even look like old walls. They did
Yeah.
a great job.
Yeah. Yeah, that was.
Beautiful millwork.
Yeah, so a lot of the features you can tell we tried to keep as much as possible. The baseboards, all of this.
Yeah, this looks awesome. So then you walk into the kitchen and you've got cabinets up. This looks a lot different and smells a lot different.
Yeah.
Wow. So in the next 2 weeks you'll have appliances and hardware and
Appliances, the rest of the flooring will go in.
same flooring as in here,
Yeah,
laminate.
That's right. Yeah.
What are cabinets? Just run of the mill off the,
Yep, Home Depot.
yep.
Yep.
So nothing custom, ballpark on those?
I think the cabinets were maybe $2,000.
Okay. that's not
Install
bad.
was about 1,500.
So do you have guys that install them or
Yeah.
does Home Depot do them for?
No,
okay.
we had a contractor do it.
So let's walk. Now this one, the big surprise was something that had to do with sewer.
So the main water line,
Oh, that's a big
and
deal.
then also this was falling off. This was a
Oh, let's walk in here, see
Yeah.
what was falling off.
so this was coming off of the original house.
Oh, that's right, yep.
So we were able to do some concrete work on the backside, level everything, rerun the electrical. We've got new plumbing over here. Obviously new flooring, so this is all level.
Huh. And does an engineer do that or is your contractor?
Contractor.
He knows what he's doing and
Yep, that's exactly
comfortable with
right.
that? So then you walk out of the kitchen and you go down this hall to the upstairs.
Yep.
And what have you done here?
So really similar, a lot of cosmetic work. So all paint, flooring. We had to redo the bathroom completely upstairs.
New windows.
New windows.
What's a window like that cost? In the front, or
Depends.
like this one?
Yeah, something like this is about $350.
About $350, and then a contractor charges you what to put it in.
It depends. He does it by the hour.
So, okay, so every time, just for illustration purposes, so someone understands if
Yeah.
they were going to do this, do we change a window or not? We're looking at 500 a window, ballpark in that range.
right. Yeah.
By the time you buy the window and get it installed, so every time you're looking at that,
Mm-hmm.
that's got to make a big difference in desirability.
It does. It absolutely does. New windows is one of the things that we hear really affects the resale
I
value.
can see that. So in this huge room at the front, they texture a lot in here also.
Yep, a lot of texture,
It's a lot of time.
new windows. Yeah.
You said you're about 4 weeks behind, probably 6 by the end of what you thought you would be.
Oh, no, this one is, yeah, at least 6 weeks behind. Yeah.
So the water main, what'd you do for that?
So we've got a contractor coming to dig it out, put a new water line in. So he should be here this week and finalize that.
And what's that going to run?
That one's about 12 grand.
12 grand. And that was the real factor on if you keep or sell.
That was it,
that
yeah.
12 grand.
Mm-hmm.
Then you add another 4 for an unexpected porch.
Yep.
The back here.
The back. Yep.
So it starts to add up.
Yeah, it does.
At least the market's rising with the expenses, right?
Yeah.
So we walk through here, now you've got bathroom, which you can't really see, bedroom.
Yeah, it's too bad you can't see in there the lights.
That's the only bathroom, right?
Well, there's a bathroom on the basement level also.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, so we skim coated the entire basement because it was just exposed stacked stone.
Mm-hmm.
And so we made sure we filled everything properly, skimmed it.
So just more bedrooms. So this one, so lots of windows, lots of repair on walls, lots of paint, new flooring, carpet cheaper than laminate.
Absolutely, yeah. Yep.
So what's your ballpark on flooring here to date that you've put into this, you think?
Probably about 7 grand.
And by the time you're done, it'll be about 7 grand on carpet?
Yeah, a little bit more. Yeah,
So are those costs rising when we talk about
yeah, absolutely.
building costs?
Yep.
So a year ago, it would have been,
Yeah, install prices are increasing, but that's commiserate with with just with how the economy has shifted just overall. Everything's more expensive, so it gets passed on to us.
So we're going to come back in a few weeks, ready to go. You're going to stage it, hit the market.
Yeah.
When you bought this, what was your after renovation value? So he pays for it. He projects what his after revenue value is.
Yeah.
That's what he's going to make. And then you had some unexpected. What was your after revenue? Do you have that number today versus what it was when you bought this 4 months ago?
We ran our numbers on an ARV of 220.
So you thought this was going to be worth 220?
Yeah,
Okay.
and now it's looking about 240.
240. So only 20,000 on this and 40 on the duplex. Now,
Yeah.
why is that?
A couple factors. There's no yard with this one. And then the duplexes, everything is just comped out so high. There's such a high demand for those.
Because they're investment. There's
They're
no
investment.
garage. You knocked the garage down on this one too.
Yeah,
What's the value of a garage?
It's
Which
about
is-
10 grand. Yeah.
Right.
So-
So you had to, well, do we keep the garage?
Yeah.
Because it would cost you how much to rebuild the
15
garage?
grand to rebuild just something small, and then we'd probably end up losing money, just return on investment.
So 15 to build, and it adds to the value about 10.
That's right.
What about just desirability? Doesn't matter because the market's so hot, I suppose. Everything sells.
I think that's
Yeah.
right. There's some off-street parking that they can just right next to the house. So I think that's really what matters. People don't like parking on the street.
Yeah,
So
for
if
sure.
they can park next to the house.
Interesting. Well, this is great. We'll see you back in a few weeks.
Yeah,
Thanks
sounds
for walking
great.
us through. It
Yeah,
looks
thank you.
awesome. Smells better. This is
Yeah, it
cool.
does.
Fun to see.
Yeah.
Thanks, Justin. Lynn Kenyon, Everything Montana Real Estate, in conjunction with Live in Montana Real Estate, my real estate company. And this is our series. You've been here before. It looks a little different. They did a great job. Remember this porch, what was like 2 weeks ago is all? This porch was completely collapsed. It looked horrible. They were holding it up with stakes. So if you're watching these, you're seeing the whole transformation. So we're back today, and we're gonna walk through with the designer, who will share her part of this. Her husband oversaw a lot of the construction and the remodel. And so we'll walk in and talk to Amber and see what they've done, and you're just gonna love what they've done. Let's go. Amber, hello, you're right here. Thanks for walking us through today.
Thanks for
This is
coming.
Amber. Amber's helped Justin through this whole process. She's also an agent,
Yeah.
does her own flips, which we'll see next. But she does the design, and your husband has kind of overseen a lot of the construction part of it.
Absolutely, especially on this one.
Yeah?
He has a lot more experience than I do with more technical issues, so
Sure, I can see.
I called in the big guns.
So look at this. So you remember when we first walked through, it
Oh, dear.
stunk.
I was gonna say, it didn't even look that bad, but it smelled horrible.
Yeah, but look at the colors. So why do you choose these? Do you have a trend or a look yourself, or are you seeing this in the design world that this is the way we're going?
When I tend to look at houses, I want each house to kind of have its own feel that flows from the outside to the inside. Obviously, neutral colors, but neutral colors can have a little bit of life with them. And so I wanted to do a lighter flooring in this house just because it has big windows, but doesn't always have good light. So I wanted to make sure we could get some more light sources in the room through that design. But
So
it
new
already
windows.
has, new windows. The windows they had were divided differently, so they also blocked out kind of the light. One of the cool things too is because it's an old home, it has such high ceilings and such character with like the built-ins and stuff. You didn't have to do too much design-wise other than just play with some new lighting, nice colors, and good flooring and stuff.
So this is dining. Let's walk through. So talk to Jason. It goes on the market Monday.
Yeah.
So this is in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
What a difference.
This is absolutely my favorite transformation of the house because I don't know if you remember at the beginning, but the washer was plumbed in over in the corner. And then this was a built-in, which was really cute but useless. And the refrigerator was here in the corner and covered the window partially. So we opened up the built-ins, put the fridge and gave it a home, and kind of even gave a little bit of a nook space here for, a little dining table, breakfast, or whatever needs to be.
I love this. You did a great job. I can't even believe this looks like it. This is great. So some new knobs? Or are
Yes,
those
we did do new knobs. All of them were busted and kind of broken, but it was so cool because my contractor, I said, go grab knobs. We need knobs. And he came back with those ones and they fit the style so perfectly.
Oh, they're perfect.
I said, thank you so much for doing that, not just grabbing some regular old knob.
Look at that. Dishwasher. This is just...
Yep,
you
full
really
ready to
have-
go. Gas range, which you don't always find in Great Falls, and I love that. So.
No, totally. You did a great job. This is awesome. Doesn't even feel like the same house, which was the
that is
idea.
good.
So I know you guys, you and your husband had your hands on the pulse. What things, this is the house that he was maybe not even going to keep. You started finding stuff early on. What came up that you didn't expect?
Our biggest one is learning how older properties in Great Falls have shared water supply lines, and our water supply line was a shared one. The house on the front of the lot had already built a new one. We still were remaining with the old one, and it was broken. So the last 2 weeks, actually, all that dirt in the yard just got filled in yesterday or the day before because we had a trench all the way down to First Avenue.
So, and those are the things that don't show. So a buyer's doesn't appreciate that you've done that. They want to see the pretty
before and
stuff.
after pictures.
Yeah. That's not good. So all new carpeting, new windows.
Go ahead. These rooms have such great space. The two main bedrooms, the one is a little bit snug and cute and tiny, but they just have such good character in these old homes. And it's nice to be able to preserve it and now give it a fresh life.
Yeah, this looks amazing.
Yay.
That's the idea. So you don't stage the bedrooms. Do you ever stage bedrooms, or is it just kind of not the
Cost
trend?
efficiency, you can. Depending on the house, you might do one bedroom. Say there was a bedroom with a lot of character, you'd want to highlight that, but not always.
So then we've got a bedroom here, and then you've got the bathroom.
Yeah, the bathroom's my second favorite transformation too, because it was, when we opened it up, it had a tub with a surround built around it. And I said, pull that surround out. And there was a clawfoot tub that they had built around. And then underneath the clawfoot tub, they had put a furnace duct, the ducting out and over into that bedroom.
So again, not the stuff that is exciting and fun. It's just, but it's got to be done and do it right. So this goes on the market Monday.
Yep.
And any idea? Think it's going to sell fast? Have you had people?
I think so. It's just a walk-in ready. It welcomes you. It's ready to go. And there's still room because it is a smaller lot. There's room for you to personalize it now too. You could definitely help with some landscaping. Didn't get there, but it's a great house ready to go. So
yeah. And Justin said in retrospect, because remember we started, he wasn't even sure he was going to deal with this one. He's glad he kept it, and he's going to make money and move on to the next one. So thanks. Let's go take a look at yours.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay. Lynn Kenyon, Everything Montana Real Estate. This is the last visit we have in this house because it's done, ready to go. Remember, we've walked through, keep it, don't keep it. Just make financial sense, and that's what you have to think about when you're doing flips. It's not just emotion. You have to step away from it and make a business decision based on costs and your return. What are you going to make? And Justin and his wife walked through, Amber just walked through. This has been kind of a mixed bag, touch and go along the way. Some things you don't always know what you're going to find. So those are decisions you have to make. It's not a sure thing you're going to make money on every flip. Know what you're doing, get good advice, get some help. The staging here is going to make a big difference on selling, and really understand the process and enjoy it. I think it can be a lot of fun, of course, but these are business decisions you need to think about before you get involved. Talk to some professionals, and you could do this too. I mean, Justin was pleasantly surprised, and that can go both ways. So thank you for joining us, walking through this, seeing this transformation. We're going to keep doing the flips because I think they're exciting, since Charlie says everything else I'm doing is boring. Just kidding. So Lynn Kenyon, Live in Montana Real Estate, in conjunction with Everything Montana Real Estate. Thanks again for joining us.